Gracie, where you at? You got everything ready for the beef? Get the beef prepared for our stir fry tonight? I know you can't have beef in the stir fry, but hey, I'll put a little piece out just for you if you got everything ready. Hey, let me go in and look. Yeah, I've been out watering all day in the garden. Oh, gosh. Well, she's got most of it out. She's got all the ingredients for the velveting sauce. She's got out the pan, cutting board, but where's the beef? Must still be in the fridge. She didn't get it off. Oh, well, hello there, friends and family. Yep, well, you caught me. And you made it past the kitty crew. Yeah, you did. Well, and I'm glad you're here for another cooking episode here in Mr. Tom's neighborhood in a little old country kitchen. Yeah, Grace was supposed to get everything put out and get all the meat sliced up and diced, but apparently, it's that no paws issue. She ain't got thumbs. She's just got paws, so she has a problem. But since you're here and you got by the kitty crew, my security and everything, let me show you what we're going to do to make the best stir fry you've ever had in your life. And it all starts with this procedure on your beef. So stay tuned. Come on back. Grab a snack and a Coke too. Well, as you can see, Gracie got most of the stuff out. I had to get the beef out. She forgot that. Why? Well, that goes back to no thumbs. And I got a pan. And we got all the ingredients here. Now let me tell you something about this. We're about to have a stir fry. A pepper steak stir fry, to be exact. And if you've ever done stir fry and wondered why your beef is not as tender and succulent as your Chinese restaurant is, well, they have a secret. And I'm about to show you why. So, what they do is they marinate it for anywhere from an hour or two or overnight. And this is what they use. Let me show you. They use some cornstarch right here. Now I'm going to be putting in some ground ginger. Yes, I am. That's optional too. Some toasted sesame seed oil. Some oyster sauce, which is essential, I might add. Now, they use a Szechuan rice wine, but I don't have that. So I'll be using the Reese Vintage cooking wine, red of course, and a little bit of baking soda too. And what this does is it tenderizes your beef. Now I'm using tonight sirloin tip steak, but in the past and traditionally you'd use a lot less expensive beef. What am I saying? What am I doing? Well, they'd use like round steak, flank steak, shoulder steak, and what have you. So this is what we got. And this really may or may not need it. But if you want succulent, tender beef in your stir fry too, this is what you'll do. Trust me, once you do it, you'll never do anything else to make the best stir fry you've ever had too. So let's get it going on. Now the first thing you need to do is get your pan, pot, bowl, what have you. Non-reactive. I'm telling you. That should be a stainless steel, glass, or what have you. And what we're going to do is we're going to make up our sauce. It's going to make the beef so tender that you don't even have to chew. So, let's get it out here. And what are we going to do? The first thing we're going to do, we're going to get our measuring spoons here. For those of you who like to measure, some of you don't. And we're going to put in a little water too. Hey, let me go get some, okay? So we're going to put in 1 1/2 tablespoon water. There's one, and there's the half right there, just like that. The next thing we're going to do is put in 2 teaspoons of cornstarch from Argo. Who knew? So we'll get out the teaspoon. We'll put in 1 level teaspoon and a second one too, just like that. Simple, right? Then 2 teaspoons of oil. Now I'm using toasted sesame oil, which is quite traditional to Asian cuisine. This adds a robust and deep flavor that you just can't imagine. It just makes it all the more better. Trust me, it does. And then we're going to be putting in 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce. We're going to shake it up a bit. Make sure it's all the more yummy. So 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce. That's 1. And that is 2. Woo! Now we're starting to get the smell going. Who knew? Then 2 teaspoons of Szechuan rice wine. But we don't have it. We're going to be going with Reese Vintage Cooking Wine Red. Any wine will work, or at least that's in my thoughts. Never has made this dish taste anything different that I could tell. So if you had rice wine, go for it. It'll make it all the more the better too. And now we're going to be going with a 1/4 teaspoon of your Arm & Hammer pure baking soda. Who knew? Well, we got interrupted by a phone call, but of course it was nothing more than one of those spam calls too. But yeah, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And lastly, but not leastly, and this is optional, but I like the flavor also well, and that's ground ginger. Now if you got fresh ginger, go for it. I don't. So I'm going to use the ground ginger, but I got to get the top off. So here we go. Nice level teaspoon of ground ginger. It's going to add a little bit of spice, nice, and a little bit of bite too. Then all we got to do is get our whisk. We're going to whisk this right on up. Now you can use a fork or a spoon too. Old Mr. Tom in his neighborhood in Country Kitchen has a whisk that I've had forever too. Just gonna whisk that right on up, and we got it right there. Now our marinating sauce, our velveteen sauce, is a Chinese chef's whose secret is known would call it. Now all we gotta do is get the beef all sliced up and diced for the best pepper steak stir fry you've ever had in your life. So now that we got our velveteen sauce all done, like a professional Chinese chef, we've got to cut up the beef. And I'm using sirloin tip steak. But like I say, traditionally there'd be shoulder steak, flank steak, round steak, and what have you. Now it's best to do this where it was still frozen or refrigerated. We're just going to be cutting this up into like 3/8 inch slices at first, and then we're going to dice And however you want to do it, you do it. This is how I do it. And if you cut it up even smaller, it spreads the recipe. Because later on, when we make this stir fry, yeah, we're going to make it and serve it over rice. So if you got a lot of people coming over and trying your dish, then cut it up smaller so everybody gets a piece of the meat in their plate. I mean, that's a trick that even my mother used to use back in the day. So we're going to slice it all through, across the grain, you might say, just like that. Now, I'm going to cut it up this way, in sort of kind of bite-sized pieces. And what I would say, what we're going to do is we're also, when we do the stir fry later on, we'll take these pieces and use them to cut our vegetables too, in the same sizes. You know, the onion, the pepper, and garlic too. So now all you got to do, once you got your beef all cut, is you just got to pick it up. And sometimes it don't cooperate. And we're going to take it and drop it in that lovely velveteen sauce we've already made. And sometimes I didn't go through it all the way. It's just like this. Hey, I'm going to tell you a trick that I used when I cooked as a chef. You just use these scissors and pluck it on in. You see? In fact, the scissors actually work much better than the knife. So once we get this all in the secret sauce, you see, I didn't cut all the way through so much of the steak. Yep, even old Mr. Tom screws up sometimes. This is real life. It's just the way it goes. Now, I meant to cut all the way through, and I didn't make it. But we're going to make do. And there you have it. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to cut it up and get it into the velveteen sauce. And what this does is it breaks down the meat proteins. Well, not the proteins, but the muscle fibers. And makes it so tender. And this is the secret. Of course, the Chinese chefs are so much better at it than I am and you. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes in real life, things don't go as you plan. And this is what is happening today. It didn't go as I planned. Maybe I should have sharpened the knife so I could cut more through. But I didn't. I actually thought of using these scissors too, because the scissors are working out quite fine. But regardless how you do it, it'll all work out in the end. And what you're going to do, once you get the beef in the sauce, you're going to marinate it for at least an hour or two. Now, to make it all the more better and also great, you're going to want to marinate it overnight if you can wait. At least an hour or two. Okay? Now, you won't see the finished dish in this video. You'll see it later, tomorrow, if you stop on by and visit with old Mr. Tom in his neighborhood and country kitchen too. So there we got it, finally, all in the sauce. See? It ain't hard. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mix it all up. Get that sauce all on the beef. And what we're going to do next is we're going to cover this. We're going to put it in the fridge for at least an hour or two. Maybe even overnight, depending on what we're going to do. But I'm thinking tonight, with what little Gracie said, we're going to be having pepper stir fry steak tonight. And there you have it. It ain't that hard. Of course, I made it look more difficult since I didn't cut through it on the cutting board. But this is going to marinate in the fridge and become all so fine. And it's what the Chinese chefs say. It's velveting the beef to make it tender and all the more savory. I hope you'll do it before you do your next stir fry. So like I say, we need to cover it. We're going to use our seal wrap. Yep, we are. Just going to take it here, cover our little bowl, just like that, and cut it off. Sometimes it doesn't work out as great as we'd like. Yep, this is real life, folks. Saying all about YouTube or a movie too. I'm sure you have the same struggles. I have too. But there you go. It's all in there, getting all softened, velvety, and smooth. And in a couple hours, it's going to go to a hot wok and make the best pepper steak you've ever enjoyed. Trust me. But that is for another video yet to come. Hey, let me get it in the fridge and get it going on. So y'all, as you can see, it's rather simple, even though I made it difficult looking. I didn't cut through the whole steak. But in the end, I got it all done. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your beef like the Chinese pros do in your favorite Chinese restaurant, because it makes a marvelous difference. Now, if you don't mind tough and chewy, then don't do it. But I would advise you to do this an hour or two before you make that perfect stir fry for you. And like always, you know, when you come back for another episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood, you know them all: Cleo, Speedy, Spooky, sometimes Heathcliff, and little Gracie too. See you on that next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. Goodbye for now. And as always, remember to take care, stay safe, and may God bless you as you bless those in your lives. Bye, y'all.